Hello dear students and teachers. Welcome to another English lesson. In today's lesson, as you could observe on the topic of the lesson, we are starting a new unit in which you will learn new things in English. So, how have you been? Have you kept studying English? Let's watch the first activity of today's lesson on the screen. So, the first activity is, you are going to answer these questions. Have you ever visited any of these places? I repeat the question. Have you ever visited any of these places? Where have you been? Where have you been? So, these are very important places in our country. And maybe some of you have visited these places. In my case, I was in Santa Clara in 2008. And then I went there again on 2012. So I can say that I have been to Santa Clara twice. I have not visited La Gran Piedra yet. Have you ever been there? So, observe these sentences and you will notice that there is something similar in these sentences that are in yellow. So, you have those sentences in color yellow there. So, and you will notice that there are some elements that are common in both sentences. So, precisely that is about those elements, and what they mean and what they imply will be our lesson today. So, for this introduction of the lesson, I invite you to enjoy a video. So, please enjoy this video.
The song of the present perfect has come here to say you're fine. If you use it for something that started in the past, that's still going at the present time. Like when I say I've been your friend for years, it means we met some years ago and we're still friends, my dear. The song of the present perfect has come here to say, hey man, you can use it for something that happened in the past, but you don't need to explain exactly when. Like when I say I've been to the UK, it means I went there in the past, but you don't know what day. In the last few minutes I have sung this tune somehow. You have heard a minute of this song up to now. I have lost my words and I don't know what I can say. I hope I've made myself quite clear with it. Now you can play. The song of the present perfect has come here to tell you that you can use it at the time when a thing takes place, but its time hasn't finished yet. Like when you say I've been outside today, the night has not come yet, it's the same day, so you can use it, mate. Finally, the present perfect is really handy and not a crime. When the action of the verb you are using has some effects in the present time. Like when I say, hey, look what I have done. I have just finished writing you this song and you can hear it now. In the last few minutes I have sung this tune somehow. You have heard 2 minutes of this song up to now. And after all of this, I hope that you haven't got bored. And the present perfect for you is not a problem anymore.
I'm sure you have noticed a common element in many of the phrases of the song. That is precisely the word have. So we are going to talk about that today, and how these have combined with another verb, another verb, we can use it to express different things that you maybe could notice he mentioned in the video. But let's take a look at these elements. So we are talking about the present perfect. As you can see on the screen, the present perfect is not really a present. It is, in fact, a past. So when we use the present perfect, we refer to actions that happened in the past. But somehow they are connected to the present. So the structure, the grammatical structure for this tense is the use of the verbs, the auxiliary verbs has and have, plus the verb in past participle. That is a common element in all the sentences in present perfect. So there you are, two examples. I have explained what present perfect is. I have explained what present perfect is. And another example, she has understood the explanation. So, as we say, we have the present perfect, the structure that is the auxiliary verbs has and have, plus the past participle of the verbs. So remember that in previous lessons or grades, you studied different conjugations of verbs. So you had the verbs, and maybe you had a list of regular and irregular verbs and their different conjugations, and they had 3 columns. So we are using the verbs of the last column. For example, let's take a look at the verb read. So we have read, which is the simple form of the verb read. We have read, that is the simple past form of that verb, but we have read again, which is the past participle. And that is the verb we need. We need the third verb on the list. So we make a combination of the auxiliary verbs has or have, depending on the person we are talking about. We use have for third person singular. We use has for third person singular and have for the rest of the people. So, next slide. When do we use the present perfect? It is important to know when we need to use this structure and when we say phrases containing this. So, we use the present perfect tense for actions that started in the past and are still happening. And there you are some examples. He has lived in Canada for 5 years. Look at the example. He has lived in Canada for 5 years. So, he started living in Canada some time ago. And 5 years after, he's still living in Canada. So, that is what we use present perfect for. The other example, she has worked at the university since 1994. It means that the action began in 1994 and still is active, this action at present. So we use for this meaning of the present perfect, we use a combination of these words like you have there, since and for. In the case of for, it means the duration of the action, and in the case of since, means that the action has been active since the moment is mentioned to the present. So, you are going to answer these questions, taking into consideration what we explained before. Remember the use of since and for. So, answer these questions. You are going to write full sentences, which are very easy for you to answer. Have you studied English for more than 3 years? Have you studied English for more than 3 years? Next question. How long have you studied English? How long have you studied English? And let's take a look at how long. How long refers to the duration of any action. So we are talking about how long. In Spanish that would be desde hace cuánto tiempo, desde cuándo, hace cuánto tiempo o hace cuánto. So you have been studying English. You have studied English. The other question, how many years have you been a student? How many years have you been a student? And the last question, how long have you lived in your house? So please take some seconds to copy these questions. Very good. Let's now take a look at some of the answers that you can give to these questions. So please watch your screens. So for these questions, for the first question, have you studied English for more than 3 years? So the answer would be, yes, I have. That is the case of positive answer. Yes, I have. Because the question starts with have you, so we invert the auxiliary and the subject of the action. Second question, how long have you studied English? So we use in this case the use of for. So I have studied English for a number of years. Maybe for you, it's different. So maybe you have studied English for 2 years, for 3 years, for 5 years, for 10 years maybe. But as you all have different answers, so I decided to write a number of years, which is more general. So you can use that phrase to refer to different amount of years, but not to mention the exact amount of years. And the last question is, how long have you been a student? And most of you should answer, I have been a student since 2010. Maybe that's the year in which you started school, because you are in 11th grade now, and in the year 2010 or 2010 you started school. So let's take a look at the other meaning of the present perfect tense. So we use the present perfect, the other use, sorry, not the meaning, the other use of the present perfect tense. We use it for actions which happened at some unknown time in the past. So the moment in which the actions happened is not important or is not mentioned in the expressions. So I have already seen that film. This is one example. I don't want to see it again. So I have seen that film. It doesn't matter the moment or how many times I have seen it. I don't want to see it again. So have you ever been to Germany? So this is a question, and the answer could be yes, I have been there. No, I haven't been there. But we are not talking about the moment in which it happened. So we are just referring to the action. So we use it sometimes with the combination of the words already, yet, ever, always, and never. And we are going to see some. We are going to see more examples in next slide. So these are some examples. So take a look. Have you already finished school? So in this case, already, you use it in questions. So we are going to use already between the subject and the verb in past participle for questions. So the answer, no, I haven't finished my school yet. In this case, yet is the opposite of already. So, and it goes at the end of the sentence. Or the answer could be, yes, I have already finished my university. So we can use already for questions and for positive answers or for positive phrases, and yet for negative statements. Have you ever been to La Gran Piedra? I have never been there. So La Gran Piedra is one of the places that we saw in the first picture today. So, and what happens in questions? In questions, we have the auxiliary, has and have, plus the subject, plus the past participle. So, as I mentioned La Gran Piedra before, La Gran Piedra is a landmark, and landmark are those places marked in blue that you can see in maps. So you can use Google Maps to look at some landmarks. Third use of the present perfect tense: actions which happen in the past but have an effect in the present. Let's take a look at some examples. These are phrases very common in today with the situation we all are living. We have taken measures not to get infected by COVID. So we are healthy. So the first sentence or the first part of the expression refers to the action that happened in the past, and the second part refers to the results at present. So when we use that, we are saying that the actions are connected, the past to the present. Susan can open her house. She has lost the keys. So we use the past, the present perfect there to express the action that happened in the past. He has made a great effort to be in that position. Now he is number one in the ranking. In this case, the first sentence refers to the action that happened in the past, and the second part of the sentence, the result of this action in the past. So now you are going to write 3 things that you have or you haven't done and its effects at present, like in the model before. But you have a model there. These are phrases that I wrote for you, and you can write similar phrases. For example, I have read a book, so I know I have read that book, so I know the end. So I have the action and the result at present. I have brought my hand sanitizer, so I feel clean and safe. Action and result at present. I haven't seen my sister for 2 years. I miss her a lot. So that is the action or the state and the result at present. So somehow the present perfect is connected to the present because the results of that action have effect on the present. So take some seconds to copy this slide and to complete. You're going to complete this activity as part of your independent work at home. I hope you find this activity easy. Anyway, so you can always consult your teachers or the Telegram channel where you can interact with the teachers of this year, and we can maybe answer some of your questions or things you don't know and you want to ask us. So please don't be afraid of writing to us. So in this slide, so I just want you to read it, not to copy it. But so we are going to complete this phrase with some of the elements that appear there. So you are going to tick the right ideas. This is going to be something that you are going to do on your minds. You're not going to write. So tick the right ideas to complete the phrase. The phrase says, we use the present perfect simple for. So first possibility, talking about daily routines. Second possibility, talking about past events with evident results at present, life experiences. Talking about past habits, or talking about unfinished actions or state or habits that started in the past and continue to the present. So what do you think are the right possibilities to answer this phrase? I mean, to complete this phrase. Very good. So maybe some of you could complete this activity easily because so it's clear and it's what we have already seen just a few minutes ago. So let's take a look at the slide and watch the correct answers to this activity. So we use the present perfect simple for talking about past events with evident results at present. So we talk about life experiences, and we also use the present perfect for talking about unfinished actions, states or habits that started in the past and continued to the present. These were the two correct answers to complete this phrase. So as homework, you are going to complete these answers. So, but you have to pay attention to the last part of each phrase. You have the person and the verb you are going to use. What you are going to do is to structure or to use the structure of the present perfect tense to complete these sentences. So take some seconds to copy this. And finally, we have another activity that you will enjoy a lot because in this activity you are going to write about your own life experiences using the structure that we studied today. So please take some seconds to copy this. In this activity, you are going to write about your own experience, and you are going to write simple sentences. They don't have to be very complicated, about things you have and you haven't done on vacations, about things you have and you haven't done during the confinement. And what is the meaning of confinement? Very good. Is the lockdown, is the orientation given by the government to stay everybody home and not to go out of our houses. So, and you're going to write about places you have and you haven't been to. So you will have more exercises, and explanations on our Telegram channel. So that's all for today. Thank you for sharing with us some time. So, as I said before, this is the last activity of today's lesson. That one you have already copied. Thank you very much for paying attention. I hope you enjoyed the lesson and that you could learn a little more of the beautiful language English. Thank you very much for watching.